your hosts, Leslie.
I'm Oni.
We are daughters, sisters, mothers, friends, divinely created and inspired women speaking freely about the things that matter to us and those we do life with. Welcome.
Welcome, welcome. Today's topic is Cancellation Nation. What is Cancellation Nation?
People who too trigger happy. That's how I see it. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I agree. Because we've had so many people get canceled, and it's like, what's the word? I'll cancel you, but how do I fix the problem?
I don't think anybody is really worried about fixing the problem, it seems. We're just in this space of let's just get rid of, which is problematic in and of itself.
Right. Because it's not, all you're doing is putting them to a side. You don't teach them whether they're wrong or right. You just cast them aside just for, is it publicity or to seem like we're doing right?
I think it's a little bit of all of the above. I think that it's so that we call out what's wrong, um and it gets steam behind it. Hopefully it will get steam behind it, and people will start to function differently. Not necessarily the people that they're trying to cancel, but that everybody will want to or understand why this thing, person, entity needs to go.
Right.
I
So
don't
it
think
seems like they don't.
I don't think we talk about um reform for the person. I don't think that's ever
No,
been a part of
no,
the critique.
no, it hasn't. It really hasn't. It's like they don't know what really canceling someone is or something. It's just, let's put it on the shelf to appease this group, and that's it.
So it's interesting because what's going on with the voting rights law that was enacted in Georgia. And then Delta came out and said what they were going to say. Coca-Cola said what they were going to say. Several others said, and then the Major League Baseball team was like, "No, league." They were like, "Nope, we are going to move the All-Star game from Atlanta. Georgia is doing something that we can't get behind, and so we can't help to because what they're doing is paying into the economy. And their thing is, we're not going to do that for people who don't seem to understand the right of voting. And so the immediate thing, of course, number 45, he was like, let's cancel Major League. So you remember, they didn't like the kneeling.
Yeah.
So they was like, let's boycott the football league. They didn't like, what else was it that they didn't like? It was a couple different things that came up, and he was like, let's get rid of them. And now here it is. But these are the same people hollering, cancel culture is toxic.
Yeah.
So I think with this, we pick and choose when it works and when it doesn't. Because if you left it to that group, they would cancel liberals and Democrats all day long.
Oh yeah. Because they should have canceled 45 a long time ago, but it wasn't beneficial to them.
No.
So then it's like, how effective is Cancellation Nation? I'm a cancel, like you said, who you want to cancel. I'm a cancel who I feel should be canceled. I'm not gonna, really reprimand them, but we're just gonna throw them aside. And those who are doing wrong that are on my side, we're gonna just overlook it. They were just a problem.
I think it's like we're canceling the things that go along the line of public opinion, right? I don't like that Cardi B and that Candace Owens girl. I don't think that She is a good representation of womanness and what it is to value yourself. And she's promoting promiscuity and blah, blah, blah. Well, the thing about it is that's your opinion. There are other people who are like, no, I'm cool with this. And I don't see what your issue is, because if you really got an issue, you could just cut her off.
Right. Like, why would you listen to the whole song if you don't like her?
Exactly. And so my thing is, we've always had cancel culture. It just was done by the powerful in a quiet manner. Now everybody just want to announce who they want cut off. We've been cutting off people forever.
Right.
The thing in Hollywood was you would get blacklisted, right? You didn't do what the people thought you should have done. Look at how they handled Monique.
Yeah.
And all of that stuff that went down between her and Oprah and Lee Daniels, and she swears by God that she was canceled. That is what people in power do. They just hold back the opportunity for your growth to happen. They hold back the opportunity for you to get access to more people.
Yeah.
This cancel culture that we're experiencing is nothing but talk, effectively.
Yeah.
I've not seen where currently it is something that's actually picking up steam and actually, okay, let me back up. In certain ways, and I'm gonna say, and the one that stopped me was what happened with Sharon Osbourne.
Okay, yeah.
She popped crazy with her panelists, her colleagues on the show. And what did the people who watched the show do? They armed themselves with their voice, but they did it collectively. So it was backlash from the audience. And then the backlash grew from the audience to people who were connected to the people on the show, and then it just took on this thing. Now that's power,
right?
That's what real canceling something or somebody looks like.
They've done it to a few. You got Roseanne.
That's another one. But here again, it's the machine behind it. It's the people understanding that first I got power if enough of us raise our voices loud enough.
Right.
And it's not something that's frivolous. You know what I mean? Of no consequence. And I think that's the thing with the Cancellation Nation and this cancel culture thing. We're calling out to cancel folks for stuff that's of no consequence.
And I think, I may be wrong, but looking at it, the only ones who tried to get the person who did the wrong to understand their fault was the Cheryl Osbourne. Like, they talked to her and tried to get her to see, this is where you went wrong. I didn't see it. But most of them, it's just, you did wrong, we cancel you.
Right.
Like, hers was the only one who I could say, okay, because some people, now, this is not giving her no excuse or anybody else, but in a time in your culture, the way you're raised and what you're surrounded, some people may be completely oblivious to other cultures and things they can and cannot say or do.
But you girl, you are giving her an excuse, because here's the reason I'm saying.
And that's why I said maybe not her.
But even for any and everybody who is in public view, you can't get that pass. Like, we're in the age where you can't get that pass anymore. So just like what Mike Huckabee said yesterday, I think he tweeted, or it was earlier today, where he was like, I'm just gonna go and say that I'm Chinese from now on. And that'll mean everybody's with me. Coca-Cola be with me. He named all these people and he was being ugly. So for him to, well, first of all, he is of no consequence. Everybody took note of it because he still has a name amongst his folks. But I mean, people called for his neck some time ago, and so he just showing himself for who he is. But like somebody in Sharon's position, somebody in Roseanne's position, I'm trying to think of somebody else, somebody in Trump's position should understand that I can't say everything that I'm feeling because it's not just me and mine anymore.
Right.
I'm beyond the point. Like, oh, I just had this conversation yesterday. I think I'm getting beyond the point where we give people passes because we're of the age where the conversation has been circulating long enough to where people have to understand. I just can't say whatever and expect it to hit the ceiling and go on about the business and evaporate. That's not how it flows anymore.
Right.
So I don't care about what age you were born in. You better check yourself.
But do you think, other than those who are celebrities, that it still goes on?
What you
Or
mean?
are we at the time the oblivious to other cultures? Or have we gotten to the time because of internet and everything else? Like, you should not be oblivious to anybody's culture around, like,
I want to say we are at the point where everybody just should be conscious enough to say that you can't call me a nigga to my face. Right?
yeah.
Should be. Even though we got people who were born during the age where that was just one of the things that flew out your mouth with no problem. But we're at the point where everybody understands there are repercussions for doing that in this time. You can't just grab my butt in the office. Like, I don't know all the stuff that they're saying about Cuomo. I kind of tuned that out.
That's what I was about to say. He said he was, is it Italian? And that's how they are. They're huggers and they're, he tried to use my culture is why I'm touchy feely.
So here goes. I can be a touchy feely person, but in the age of Me Too. So this is, I don't know how recent these things happened, but if they happened since Me Too became a thing, then he just wants to be oblivious and he is going to be a victim of his ignorance because he will be without position if he don't get it together. And that's what I mean. And all of them should stand as examples for the rest of the people who are in position, have platforms, lead organizations, or whatever, to say, nah, yo, you can't just be out here doing whatever you want to. I don't care about what your culture calls for. If I'm not one of your close people, don't do that to me.
Right.
Oh no. But they be out here talking about, listen, it's so bad. We'll be talking about something and Nadia go, you can't say that because they'll cancel you. I was like, who is they? And first of all,
but it does seem like, in a sense, that it does seem like it's getting to the point where it's a lot of stuff you can't say how you feel about, X, Y, and Z because you got to feel. And it's not even to say, I don't like this person. I feel, So for the example, I can't remember who it was that came out, a singer or somebody, and she basically came out and said she did not like the fact that if somebody spoke their opinion against the LGBTQ
QIA plus.
platform, that they were allowed to jump on and pretty much bully the person that didn't feel the same way as them. Mm-hmm. So then it becomes, you're fighting to cancel me, but are you not, doing the same thing? Because I don't agree with the way you are. Like, when does it come to the point where I have an opinion versus I'm just blatantly, not to say racist, but wrong? Or
when you disrespect or diminish or brush off as irrelevant my personhood, you are no longer speaking opinion. And that's the issue when it comes to the LGBTQIA plus community. And that's the same thing with us. You can't, again, I'm gonna say it, you can't call me a nigga and think, I mean, like, okay, so here again, Roseanne could not call whoever when she was talking about, she can't say nigga like she was saying it and not believe that it wouldn't be a jab to the personhood of black folks.
Yeah, I think she said somebody looked like the ape.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah. And all those things where the people were touting when Obama was president, they were showing him being hung and all that other stuff. So if anybody of some notoriety, I mean, and even if it was you or me,
right.
and our friends saw us put that up there, somebody got to call us to the carpet, because we're not doing opinion at that point. What we're doing is we are trying to annihilate the personhood of another. And that's what the problem is. People don't agree with the LGBTQIA community, and so they want to dismiss them. Okay, but you can't dismiss people. You don't have to agree with what people do. I mean, shoot, people don't like people that are heterosexual and got relationships. They don't like who they sleeping with. They don't like PDA. I mean, they don't like that they sit so close. They don't like, listen, they don't like that they go to King's Dominion and have on matching outfits. They want to say y'all doing too much. Or black love. Y'all just supporting black love. And what about white love? We don't care about white love because it's always been white love. Right? And ain't nobody saying down with white love. Nobody's saying, oh, it's an issue. It's just whenever it was a conversation of why is it so much whiteness in spaces, it was just a thing of I exist too, put me in the space. So when people speak out against certain things, you have to recognize, am I speaking against people and their the things and the characteristics that are central to their humanity? Or am I talking about something like I don't like their dress, I don't like that they're vulgar, because any of us could be vulgar on a given day, Lord knows. I don't like that they curse too much. I don't like, oh, I don't like that they drink. That's not humanity. That's not a thing that's central to their humanity. And so those are the types of things that you can give your opinions about. But don't dismiss me. Don't dismiss me. And that's the problem with those kinds of conversations. So like this thing that happened with Kirk Franklin. And the people were like, we won't cancel Kirk Franklin because of the way that he was talking to his son. Stop. There were a couple different things that came up in that for me. One, we didn't hear the whole conversation. And in saying that, there was this group that was like, we don't need to hear the whole conversation. How dare he talk to his son like that? Ho, ho, ho. You need context before you can jump into a conversation.
Right.
If it's two people and it's just like any conversation, if I walk up on you and somebody else and y'all in a 45-minute long conversation and I hear the last 5 minutes and I want to attack you not knowing how it all started, I look like the fool.
Yeah.
But yet we want to cancel him based on 2 minutes. Come, let's do better. That's the type of stuff I'm talking about. You have no context for your argument. You want to get mad at the Major League Baseball. They did what they can do because it's their money. And it's their organization. And it's what they stand on.
And it gets to a point also, it's like using that Kirk Franklin one. When is enough enough? Like to me, I was like, oh, this is too much. First of all, you're using it as it's like a weapon.
Oh,
I can't get what I want, so I can't get you canceled. What? Now again, we didn't hear the whole conversation, but we know it got out and it wasn't him that put it out there.
Right.
So it's like, what was the purpose of it getting out? Did you think Was this a temper tantrum? I didn't get, and some things, when they do the, now, not all, but sometimes you like, are you canceling this person because, you're mad that you didn't get your way? Because that's pretty much what the Kirk regular, you put this out here because, he said pretty much, no, I ain't giving you nothing.
Yeah, and with that, it was a years of no, and I don't like, and I'm not doing, and all of that, and so we got 2 minutes of a almost a decade long fight.
Right.
We don't have no dog in this fight. We can say, hey, we should do better and not talk to our loved ones in that way. That's a safe assessment.
Yeah.
We can say this is a demonstration of why I mean, for the Christians who wanted to say, y'all, he need to sit down. What we should say is this is where the redemptive power of Jesus is effective in situations like this, where two people can come together after this, and they can hash out their differences and say, I love you, and move forward. For the people who want to talk about mental health, this is an example of dysfunction, and this is where mental health professionals could be of service, and left it right there.
Yeah. So it seems like we're lacking a standard, uh a standard for Cancellation Nation.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because we just want to cancel everything. But like I said, if we're talking about something that's about a person and their who they are, then you that's a slippery slope. You asking to be messed up behind that. Versus I don't like the things that you do on the surface, like all those other things, but I don't, yeah, the differentiating of what we're dealing with, that is what is missing, because we want to cancel everything.
Yeah.
So like the okay, so Lil Nas X did his video last week, right? Did you see it?
No.
Okay, but you heard about it with Satan shoes.
Yeah.
With the hell shoes. And everybody wanted to cancel him. And so Nadia brought it to my attention, and I turned it on. And I intentionally made myself shut off all biases and actually watch what was on the TV, to see what he was doing, to see the symbolism and all that other stuff. And I did some research as I was watching, because some things stood out to me. And in the end, I was able to go. That was really artistic. I mean, shoot, the boy is amazing in that way. Could I see what his point was? Absolutely. Um, did I agree with it? It made me chuckle. I know a lot of people enraged them.
You laughed. Everybody else got mad. Okay.
Twerking on the devil. That's some stuff. The imagery and what it meant and all of the meaning behind the stuff that he put in place. I was like, he's smooth with that. He is totally smooth with that. Do I agree? No. Would I do it? No. Am I going to badmouth him? No. Why? Because I'm not his audience. And
Right.
even if I was, I'd have to still go, is this for me or is it not? We've done it with everything. We buy a CD and we don't like half of the songs on it. Did we still go buy a CD the next time? Absolutely.
And that's what one of the comedians were talking about. He was like, it comes down to, he said he understood that they were mad because most of his audience is children.
Mhm.
And so they was like, that's what they got mad at. But he was like, it then comes down to, you want to cancel this person, but are you doing your job as a parent? Yeah. So he was like, I know he's for kids, but I also am a parent, so censor what my kids listen to. You know, I don't just let you. Yeah.
He said he's not for kids though. Because I was listening to another podcast that I listened to, and they were talking about this, and they were like, "No, but if you actually listen to his lyrics on Old Town Road, he was talking about some stuff that you don't necessarily want your children to be listening to." But here again, that's a whole nother conversation about listening to lyrics. We get caught up in the catchiness and think that it's kid friendly, when all of the rest of it is questionable for a 5-year old, you know. So I he said, I'm not out here trying to be nobody's role model. I ain't trying to be for children. It's me doing me.
But I think the part is like you now know you are already for children. Then you say but then again, like you said, like was said before, I know who listens as a parent. Do your due diligence. Like do your part. Make sure you pay attention to what your kids are listening to. Because remember, when we were growing up, we listened to stuff. Like what you're not going to do is play X, Y, and Z.
Girl, listen. I remember this one time. This is after I went to college, and I came home and I drove my mother's car. And I know you've heard Baltimore. You remember when the Club Queen was popular? And so there was one tape. Girl, this is when we had. Did I have a tape or a CD? Borderline. I don't know what I did. And so I left it in the car. And first of all, it was blasting. You know how when children get in the car, I'm gonna turn it all the way up. It was blasting and it was raunchy. I mean, from start to finish, that joke was not raunchy. My mother was livid. She was like, "What are you listening to? You know that doesn't honor God and it doesn't honor you. And how dare you?" And I was like, "Okay, I'm sorry." And I took it and I made sure she didn't listen to it no more. You just know, you know what's offensive and you know what's not. And I mean, you know, mamas and daddies got to do their due diligence. But in this age, that's a bit more difficult than it was when we were, because I hadn't heard or seen WAP until she brought it to me. I hadn't even heard or seen this Montero, I think that's the name of it, with Lil Nas X until she brought it to me. And so it's like she's 18 also. But I know I've caught her watching some stuff and I was like, "Oh my God, how did we let this get in here?" But it's
But even that being said, if she was like 9, 10, whatever, you as a parent would have had the stuff geared to the ratings and different things that they have, it wouldn't have got to her.
If I'm knowledgeable enough, one, if I care that much, two, because sometimes part of me go, "This is entirely too much censoring." And yeah, those are the two things. The thing about it is though, for me, it is a fine line about censorship, because um I will put some of those things in place to block from stuff. And as much as I did, she still found out about it.
Yeah.
And so it's like, when do we, I get this for parents in this whole cancellation situation, is like, so how much preparing are we doing with our children? How much teaching are we doing with our children to help them to navigate the landscape, as opposed to, we can't have this because it's a problem for them? There's always going to be toxic stuff in the space.
But and also it goes back to, like I say, when we were growing up, we had the rap, you had the NWA, you had, you know, all the little put it on the glass and whatever songs that came out. You had all that stuff.
Yes.
But we also had parents that, even though it slipped through their cracks and we still got it, they made sure and kept us in check and scared about everything else. That it was like, all right, I listened to my little music, but mama came around, mama got in the
Oh,
car.
we turned
Boop,
it.
that 97.1, that little Christian channel came right on. Boop, we're gonna do this.
Oh, I just turned it off. And she was like, why you turned it off? No reason. I was just, oh, I was about to turn it off anyway. She was like, you lying. Well, I might be, but I
It
don't
ain't
know.
for you.
This thing when it comes to what the children can handle and what they can't. Because remember when everybody was up in arms about the different characters that they were bringing to Sesame Street, and they were like, "You exposing children to too much." Child, bye. If a child sits and watch primetime TV with you, they are being exposed to everything. If they
Right.
watching commercials, they are being exposed. If they are by chance scrolling through your phone and looking at social media, they are being exposed. And so
Well, apparently, if they were listening to Dr. Seuss, they was being exposed.
to things that are contrary and problematic in some of those situations. And so it's this thing of what are you going to do with it? Do you throw it away? Or like we talk about when we're doing training, you ask somebody a question and they give a wrong answer. And I go, hold on, that just because it's a wrong answer doesn't mean that we don't have nowhere to go with this. It gives us the terrain for conversation. And I think that's what we're missing. Don't nobody, like you said, do we bring people to the space for reform? When all the stuff would happen. Remember when R. Kelly came and did the interview with Gail?
Oh, that was
That
amazing.
that was that is what we do. So when you were talking about do we give room for reform, in some situations there's opportunity for you to give your side of the story, to explain yourself, to help people understand. And even with that, that's still that. I mean, you won't get canceled.
No, you're gonna probably still get canceled, but people will understand your side and you will be taught what you did wrong. And that's the thing I think that people, it's just like somebody does something, they go to jail and they sit in jail for just X amount of years.
Mhm.
They, it's what's that thing they said? Oh, behavior training. If I
Mhm.
beat you, you know it's wrong.
Mhm.
You don't know why it's wrong. You
Mhm.
just know, not to say you that dumb to not know why it's wrong, but I'm not reiterating and teaching you this is not appropriate. This is what we do. This is this. Get over it. Instead, I'm just, go in that corner and sit down.
Right. That's like yelling at the kid when they do something and thinking that the yelling is going to permeate. So Cairo is 13 months. And so I caught myself the other day. She was doing something and I was fussing and I popped her once. Then it dawned on me, hold on. I didn't explain to her. And I know somebody gonna be like, explain. Yes, explain. Because that little girl understands plenty. And so the second time, even though she got in trouble the first time, she went back and did it. I literally got on my knees, got on it face to face with her, and I was like, you need to stop. You're going to break it. That needs to end. Did she do it again? Absolutely. But at this point, if you get in trouble,
You
it's
know.
because you're choosing to be defiant. Because you know what she did at that point? She went over there and she looked behind her at me. So she knew.
Right.
He was just like, okay, whatever.
And
I'm
that's a lot of things when people like you get the Roseanne, you get the Cheryl Osborne, you get the other people. It's like a lot of times it's you've been doing this for a while. No one's ever said, no, 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 stop it.
right,
This is no.
right.
So you're used to I get away with it and get away with it. Like with Cheryl Osborne, they was like, oh, it's been happening for a while.
Yes.
Who's gonna pull you aside and be like, look, this can't go on or else. Not that I will have any power over telling you what to do, but hey, Leslie, look, let me tell you what X, Y, and Z is. So, like you said, the next time you do it, well, now you got fired. It's on you.
That's it. Like you got a slap on the wrist. You probably should have got a serious reprimand the first time. But
If
now,
they got a slap on the wrist.
if, but when your money looks like it's going to be compromised, um, that's a problem. And so, money talks
Mm-hmm.
in a lot of these situations. Money will get things shifted and changed in a heartbeat. And so, um, I think what matters is we galvanize the power. You know how we were talking about it before? Don't be frivolous with it. Galvanize the people and the voices to make the move and make the demand that things change. We just listen, that's what happened with this stupid voting act thing that the Georgia folks did. Their
Right.
thing was we got enough voices to make a thing, but they about to see what it looks like because they just bought in the reckoning on themselves because they want to cancel. Now they tried to cancel some voices. They tried to cancel the people because I was this little blurb that I was reading that the Republicans understand that the more people they get to vote, the less people vote for them.
Right.
So if you reduce how many people vote, then you get more people who vote for them. But you have shown what, well, first of all, messing with black folks in the South, we got time in this fight. You want to create a problem? Oh, okay. We're gonna figure it out and we're gonna regroup, and then we're gonna come back stronger the next time. Because all of the stuff that they put in place, you best believe there's a plan to take this stuff to court, which already there's some lawsuits. But then also, how do you make sure that the community is on point? Y'all wanted to cancel us. Let's show you what that looks like.
Yeah.
It's a power play. This whole cancel thing is this who has the most power. But it becomes a misuse of power or an
Yeah.
abuse of power when you waste the energy on stuff that don't matter. We waste too much energy on stuff that don't matter.
They do.
Yeah.
So it will always be an unfair battle.
Not necessarily. To somebody, going to always feel like it's unfair.
Yeah.
But after a while, I'm hoping we'll get to the clearing where it starts to make sense where to put your stuff behind and whatnot. What's gonna pay off and what's not. Me canceling. Girl, they had a thing where they was like cancel Netflix. What? But they didn't give me a strong enough reason for me to even get behind that.
You have
So
too many people sitting at home. They like whatever.
yeah. So but you want to talk about power and canceling things. We saw what that looks like with Dave Chappelle. He was like, yo, they want to own my likeness. They want to hold this thing over me and steal from me, essentially, because I was young and I was dumb, and they didn't leave no room for me to correct my error. And so he was like, yeah, don't watch the Chappelle show. What happened? Netflix stopped showing it, and he ended up getting paid. Anita Baker is in that same kind of fight. She was like, I want my stuff. I want everything that belongs to me. Is it her master she's fighting for? Yeah. And so what she was like, don't stream nothing. And you want to know what we like? Okay. That's power.
Yeah.
It's not, it's the people who are saying a thing have something that is legitimate. It's something about their personhood. It is their opportunities for growth and them having access to what will benefit them and their future and their legacy. That type of thing, you got a whole bunch of people that'll join with you. But if it's something frivolous, like they hoochie mamas out in these streets, turn it off.
Yeah. And I think with like on this point of Cardi, it's as long as you stayed in your lane, you were fine.
Oh,
That she will take up politics in a minute.
yeah.
That's not your lane. Cancel her.
Yeah.
You
And
okay if she over there now dancing and showing her tail. But the minute she tries to show you she's not ignorant,
Right.
it's a problem.
The girl is a savvy businesswoman, and I am never gonna knock that. And the people who want to knock it, they don't understand. You can wear many hats. I am an entertainer, but I also am a person who understands the value of being knowledgeable about politics. She playing both.
Yeah.
Who said she only had to stay in one lane? That's that thing that they say about LeBron James. Just play, just dribble the ball, sir, ma'am. But let's not try to shut the man up because he got a right to wear multiple hats.
Right.
So, ciao bye. These people are ridiculous. And so I cancel culture.
And that leads us to y'all. What do y'all think? Is cancel culture overrated?
Yes.
Is it on task? Let us know. Hit us down below. Let us know what you think. The Les and O Show 1@gmail.com. If you want to send us something. And we'll definitely talk.
All right,
Thank you for joining us. Bye.